Jai Hind and welcome to Team MED The Futurist, and today's update is on Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's claim about capturing Chinese soldiers to gain favor with the United States and the involvement of United States companies in Ukraine and specific U.S. Ukraine businesses deal in 2025. I will also incorporate details about the business deals from 2025 based on the available sources. So, certainly the geopolitics is evolving and it's going to be really interesting. I'll connect three elements in the videos. Zelensky's claim about capturing Chinese soldiers. Second, the presence of US companies in Ukraine and specific US Ukraine business deals in 2025. It reflects Zelensky's efforts to maintain the support of United States during Ukraine's ongoing war with Russia while navigating economic and geopolitical challenges. So we'll take things one by one. First, Zelensky's claim about Chinese soldiers. Now in early April 2025, Zelensky announced that Ukrainian forces captured Chinese nationals fighting alongside Russian troops in Ukraine. He claimed over 150 Chinese citizens were recruited by Russia through platforms like TikTok, but he didn't directly accuse China's government of sending them. Now, China and Russia, they both have denied these claims, with China calling them groundless and Russia rejecting any recruitment of Chinese fighter United States. Admiral Samuel Papero also confirmed that the capture of two Chinese nationals were described them as mercenaries and not official Chinese soldiers. Now, why did he say this? Zelensky's claim seems to be a strategic move to keep the United States engaged in supporting Ukraine, especially under the Trump administration, which has been skeptical of continued aid. Here's why. Now, appealing to United States interest, the United States sees China as a major rival. By highlighting Chinese nationals in the war, Zelensky might be trying to alarm or impress the United States that they have caught Chinese soldiers, hoping to secure more military aid, political support, or economic investment or engagement, the continued engagement in whatever way with the Trump administration. Now, countering China-Russia ties, China has supported Russia economically, like buying its oil. Zelensky's claim could pressure the United States to even counter this by strengthening ties with Ukraine. Now, what has been the political maneuver? Posts on X and some reports suggest that Zelensky is amplifying this issue to stay relevant to the United States, especially since Trump has pushed for Ukraine to negotiate peace with Russia. Now, this claim might distance from Ukraine's, battlefield losses or even domestic challenges. But is there any evidence? There is no solid proof that China's government sent soldiers. Let's be very clear. The captured individuals might be mercenaries or volunteers, not official troops. The lack of evidence suggests Zelensky's claim is more about geopolitical than any facts, possibly to align with the priorities of United States in whatever possible way. Now let's judge the second part. United States companies in Ukraine, what are they doing? What's happening? Now those companies of America, they are increasingly involved in Ukraine, particularly in reconstruction and resource extraction as part of broader United States economic interests. Now this ties into Zelensky's efforts to keep the United States invested in Ukraine's future, especially through business deals. Now, what are the key areas? They are the reconstruction. Ukraine's infrastructure has been devastated by war. United States firms like BlackRock have been highly and actively involved since 2023, coordinating investments for rebuilding projects like roads, energy system, and even buildings. Now, the second is minerals and resources. Now, Ukraine has valuable minerals like lithium and titanium, critical for tech and energy. United States companies are again very keenly interested in accessing these, especially as the United States seek to reduce reliance on China for these rare earth metal. Now, the third are the economic opportunities. The United States Chamber of Commerce has promoted Ukraine as a market for American businesses in sectors like energy, agriculture, and tech, aiming to support recovery and long term growth. Now, why are United States companies are involved in Ukraine? Strategic interests. The United States want to counter Russia and China by strengthening Ukraine's economy and certainly integrating it with the Western markets. The profit potential is high. Reconstruction and mineral extraction offer significant profits. Ukraine's large consumer market and skilled workforce are also very attractive. Then, of course, like what Trump has said earlier, repaying aid. The United States has provided over 183 billion US dollars in aid to Ukraine since 2022. So some, including Trump, see business deals as a way to recoup this investment. So though Zelensky insists past aid was a grant, but not a loan. So how does this entire stuff connects to Zelensky's claim? Zelensky's Chinese soldier claim might be a tactic to highlight Ukraine's value to the United States, encouraging American companies to invest by framing Ukraine as a front line against China and Russia. By keeping the United States engaged, he ensures the economic support, which is crucial for Ukraine's survival and recovery. Forget about the war right now. Now, the third element is the United States and Ukraine business deals in 2025. Now, in 2025, several significant business deals between America and Ukraine, particularly around the minerals and reconstruction, have been negotiated or proposed. I even tweeted on this subject, and these deals are central to the narrative as they reflect Zelensky's effort to secure United States support and Trump's push for economic returns. Now, let's see certain key developments. First is the critical minerals deal. Now, the United States and Ukraine have been negotiating a deal to give American companies access to Ukraine's critical minerals like lithium and titanium, essential for tech and renewable energy. Now, this is seen as a way to reduce United States dependence on China, which dominates rare earth markets. Now, what has been the progress in 2025? In February 2025, the United States and Ukraine agreed to a draft minerals deal potentially worth $1 trillion, though details were still little vague. But Zelensky initially rejected a version demanding 500 billion in mineral profits, arguing it would burden the future generations. So by April 17, 2025, Ukraine and United States signed a memorandum of intent to establish a reconstruction investment fund as part of an economic partnership. Now, this is a step towards final minerals deal expected to be finalized soon, though it requires Ukraine's parliament approval. Now, this fund would include profits from Ukraine's mineral, oil and gas, but doesn't mention security guarantees, a key that Zelensky has demanded. Now, the United States softened its demands, reducing the estimated aid repayment from $300 billion to $100 billion, closer to Ukraine's estimate of $90 billion. Now, what are the challenges? Ukraine certainly lacks modern geological data, making it hard to even access the minerals viability. Now, the war has also destroyed the entire infrastructure, complicating even the mining operations in Ukraine. So the significance is Trump sees this as a repayment for past aid, while Zelensky hopes it ensures United States even commitment. However, Ukraine resist the terms that could undermine the European Union integration or even the sovereignty. Now, when we see the reconstruction and the investment fund, the April 2025 memorandum aims to create a joint U.S. Ukraine fund for reconstruction, funded partly by Ukraine's natural resources. It's described as mutually beneficial, promoting economic growth in both the countries. Now, this builds on earlier efforts like BlackRock's 2023 agreement to coordinate the reconstruction investments. Now, this fund would support projects like rebuilding energy, infrastructure, and even the housing projects. Now, what is the status? The final agreement is still under negotiation with some technical discussions ongoing as of April 2025. The Ukrainian Prime Minister also visited Washington to finalize these details. Now, what are the proposed weapon purchase deals? In April 2025, Zelensky announced Ukraine's willingness to buy up to 50 billion in US weapons, including Patriot missile systems, using European Union funds. This would be the largest United States weapons sale ever, surpassing a $23 billion F-35 deal with Japan. What is the purpose? Zelensky framed this as a long-term security partnership, positioning Ukraine as a paying customer rather than a recipient of handouts. So it aims to strengthen the Ukraine's defenses and deepen U.S. Ukraine ties. What is the status? This is certainly a proposal. It's not yet finalized. It's not a finalized deal yet. It depends upon the European Union funding and United States approval, with no clear timeline has been defined for the completion. Now, next is the infrastructure and the investment control deal. US push. In March 2025, the Trump administration proposed a deal giving the United States right of first offer on Ukraine's infrastructure and mineral projects, potentially sidelining European allies and affecting Ukrainians' European Union partnership bid. Now, this has raised concerns in Kyiv about United States control over its economy. What can be the outcome? What is the outcome? Ukraine resisted terms that could compromise its sovereignty or European Union integration. Negotiations continue with the April memorandum focusing on a more balanced partnership. Certainly, challenges and criticisms have arisen. Ukrainian concerns are Zelensky has rejected the deals that burden Ukraine with debt or cede too much control, insisting on fair terms and European Union compatibility. Now, some Ukrainian lawmakers even argue the mineral deal could harm long-term finances. But what are the US motives? Trump's focus is on recouping aid, which has been criticized as exploitive, with some calling it piracy. Others sees it as a pragmatic way to secure Republican support for Ukraine. Now, what are the practical issues? The war damaged infrastructure, lack of geological data, and security risk deter United States companies from investing heavily. Any deal requires new legislation and financing agreements. Now, what is the bigger picture when we talk about US, Ukraine, and the evolving geopolitics between these two nations? How it all connects? Zelensky's claim about Chinese soldiers is likely a diplomatic tactic to keep the United States focused on Ukraine, especially as Trump prioritizes deals over, I repeat, Trump prioritizes deals over unconditional aid. He is a businessman, and that to a real estate. By framing Ukraine as a frontline against China and Russia, Zelensky encourages United States companies and policymakers to invest in Ukraine's economy, from minerals to reconstruction. So the 2025 business deals, particularly the minerals agreement and reconstruction fund, are concrete steps in this strategy, balancing Ukraine's need for support with United States demands for the economic return. Now, why does it matter? For Ukraine, these deals could bring investment, jobs, security, but at the risk of heavy debt or even loss of control over the resources. Zelensky must navigate this very carefully to maintain the sovereignty and the ties with European Union. For the United States, the deals align with the Trump's transactional approach, offering profits and strategic leverage against China and Russia. However, they strain relations with Europe, which also seeks influence in Ukraine. Now, what are the geopolitical stakes? That it reflects the broader tensions, United States and China rivalry, Russia's war and Ukraine's fight for survival, Zelensky's move aim to keep Ukraine central to the Western priorities. Now, what should we watch for? Minerals deals finalization. Will the United States and Ukraine sign a full agreement by late April 2025? Will it include the security guarantees or favor United States control? Weapons deal. Progress when we see, will the 50 billion dollar weapon purchase move forward, and how will it be funded? That's going to be a interesting thing to see. When we see the company involvement, which United States firms will lead the reconstruction or mining projects? And with this, please keep an eye on the market also. Watch for the announcements from companies like BlackRock or even the new players. So Chinese soldiers claim if more evidence emerges, it could escalate United States-China tension or even fizzle out as a minor issue. So far, it's still considered to be inconclusive. So we can be skeptical. Governments and media often spin, stories to fit their agendas. Zelensky's soldier claim lacks hard evidence, and United States deal terms may prioritize American interests over Ukraine. So this is the bigger game. That's what we will be able to understand things in a proper way. So that's all from our side in this video and in this geopolitical, chessboard. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching the video. Do subscribe to our channel and do share the video and do share your comments, your views in our comment section. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.